On the news tonight, President Bola Tinubu, First Lady, celebrates Nigerian women's brilliance and contributions on International Women's Day. Governor Sheriff Oborevwori pledges to patronize local contractors with credible job delivery record. Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Resource Authority issues refinery licenses to 3 companies. Abroad, Europe foreign ministers support Arab plan to reconstruct Gaza. Good evening and welcome to the Delta Television News at 8. I am Ogaga Ekama. President Bola Tinubu has celebrated the resilience, brilliance, and indispensable contributions of Nigerian women. In a message to mark this year's International Women's Day, President Tinubu described the Nigerian women as the bedrock of the nation, driving progress from homes to farms, boardrooms, and communities. He said, yet 30 years after the Beijing Declaration, too many women still faced barriers that limited their potential. President Tinubu said the present administration was committed in its renewed hope pledge to dismantle obstacles, expand access to finance, and ensure equitable opportunities in governance, agriculture, and every sector. The First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has honored women globally for their resilience, hard work, and achievements in celebration of this year's International Women's Day. In a message to commemorate the day, Senator Tinubu encouraged women to cherish and support one another. The theme for the 2025 International Women's Day is For All Women and Girls: Rights, Equality, Empowerment. The State Ministry of Women Affairs, Community and Social Development has organized a rally as part of activities to mark this year's International Women's Day. The Commissioner, Ministry of Women Affairs, Community and Social Development, Honorable Pat Ajudwa, who led the road walk, said the theme of the celebration, For All Women and Girls: Rights, Equality, Empowerment, Accelerate Action, is apt. Esther Oputa reports.
Rally, which commenced at the Professor Chike Edonze Secretariat, saw women from various women groups, including the International Federation of Female Lawyers, FIDA, Female Accountants, Working Fingers International, among others, walk through to the Interbar roundabout at Asaba. Addressing the women after the walk, Honorable Ajudwa said women are the backbone of families and driving force of the economies, adding that their strength and unwavering determination had continued to shape the society despite notable challenges, including gender-based violence, unequal access to opportunities, and social-economic limitations.
Under the leadership of the Presidency, Right Honorable Sheriff Oborevwori and his wife, Her Excellency, the First Lady of Delta State, Dickiness Tobore Oborevwori, have made significant strides in empowering women through various policies and initiatives. On this special day, I urge every woman to embrace her power, nurture her dreams, and uplift others along the way. Let us continue to support one another.
The permanent secretary of the ministry, Mrs. Ogenekewe Agas, said there were a number of factors limiting the women, but urged them to work above such factors and achieve their purpose in life. Other women who spoke said achieving a society where women had a level playing ground and equal opportunities was possible with collaborative efforts.
Get empowered. Don't limit yourself. Don't say because you were like this. Like some women, you see some adults, they'll be saying, my father did not send me to school. If your father did not send you to school, what have you been doing about it? So women should empower themselves. Women should ensure they get education because education is power.
First of all, you can see we are out here. We are doing a lot of sensitization. We are doing a lot of advocacy because we have to accelerate action. The World Economic Forum just released statistics that states that we are 135 years behind in achieving those goals, which we had set out to achieve 60 years ago in Beijing, the Beijing conference, where women were asking for equality, fairness. It is not too nice that 60 years on we are still asking for it, and that's why we are saying we can't go slowly, we can't continue to go slowly, we have to demand, and that's why we are conversation.
Activities marking this year's International Women's Day celebration continue across the globe, with the United Nations UN in the forefront. Esther Oputa reporting.
The National President of the National Council of Women's Societies, NCWS, Mrs. Edna Azura, has called for intensified efforts toward achieving gender equality and empowering women and girls across the country. Mrs. Azura made a call at a symposium to commemorate the 2025 International Women's Day in Abuja. She urged stakeholders to dismantle systemic barriers preventing women's advancement. Ms. Azura said that this year's theme was a call for all stakeholders to redouble efforts in bridging gender gaps and ensuring equal opportunities for women in all spheres of life. The NCWS president therefore emphasized the need for a collaborative approach involving government, civil society, the private sector, and individuals to drive gender equality initiatives forward. Speaking on the symposium's sub-theme, "The Future is Now, Empowering Women and Youth to Thrive," Mrs. Azura stressed the importance of investing in education, skills development, and economic empowerment for women and youths. She added that the council would provide financial support to selected women entrepreneurs to help scale up their small businesses. The event featured empowerment of selected petty traders across the Federal Capital Territory (FCT) as part of activities to mark International Women's Day 2025. The state government has pledged to patronize local contractors based on track record of competence. Governor Sheriff Oberwe made the pledge during inspection of Orere Bridge in Ughelli South local government area. Governor Oberwe said his administration would not allow incompetent contractors to take projects in the state. He said the Orere Bridge, which was started by the previous administration, connects over 15 riverine communities along the corridor. The governor noted that the state government would continue to prepare payment schedule on weekly basis to pay contractors as they turn in their certificates. He, however, frowned at the slow pace of work and called on the contracting firm to redouble efforts to meet the completion deadline, adding that the inspection was to ascertain work done by the contractors and also look at their performance. The governor also inspected the 46 kilometers Ohara-Bomadi Road linking Ughelli North, Ughelli South, Patani, Buritu, and Bomadi local government areas. At Edo Road, Ughelli, which is being constructed with concrete, the governor commended the contractor for the quality of work done, adding that when completed with asphalt overlay, the connecting roads will help reduce traffic around Otowodo Junction. President Bola Tinubu has turned down a 942 billion naira proposal by the National Population Commission (NPC) for the conduct of the National Housing and Population Census. President Tinubu insisted on cost-cutting measures and also suggested the deployment of members of the National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) for the exercise. After being briefed by officials of the NPC led by its chairman, Nasir Kwara, President Tinubu promised to set up a committee to align the census budget to the government's present financial realities. The special advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, in a statement titled, "Nigeria Moves Closer to Fresh Census," said President Tinubu has set up a committee. President Bola Tinubu has appointed former Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) Chairman Professor Atahiru Jega as Special Advisor and Coordinator of the Presidential Livestock Reform. The Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, in a statement, said Professor Jega will drive progress in the livestock sector to support national development. Professor Jega co-chaired the Presidential Livestock Committee with President Tinubu, which recommended key reforms, including the creation of a livestock ministry. A former Vice-Chancellor of Bayero University, Professor Jega also serves as a Pro-Chancellor of Sa'adatu Rimi University of Education in Kano and is a member of the International Elections Advisory Council. He previously chaired INEC from 2010 to 2015. The World Health Organization (WHO) says it will send leprosy drugs to Nigeria this weekend after resolving testing holdups that led to a year-long delay in thousands of patients, including children, getting the medicine they need to prevent disability. Nigeria reports over 1,000 cases of leprosy yearly, a disease caused by bacterium Mycobacterium leprae and mainly affects the skin, peripheral nerves, and eyes. It is curable with multi-drug therapy, but without treatment, the disease progresses and causes disfiguring sores and disabilities like blindness and paralysis. Patients also face significant stigma. However, the country ran out of stock of the multi-drug therapy in early 2024 as a bureaucratic delay in supply and new domestic testing regulations on imported medicines held up the drugs in India, where one of the components is made. The delay, which caused significant suffering in the country, is just one example of the vulnerability of a global system that has seen stockouts in countries including India, Brazil, and Indonesia in recent years, the UN Special Rapporteur for Leprosy told Reuters. A WHO spokesperson said that Nigeria had run out of leprosy medications, and the UN Health Agency, which organizes shipments of the drug, had asked for a one-time waiver on the new testing policy. In January, that waiver was granted. The federal government has designated 154 health facilities nationwide to provide free treatment for women with obstetric complications. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Pate, disclosed this during an interview with newsmen in Abuja. Professor Pate said the facilities will cater to women experiencing health challenges and obstetric complications during pregnancy, labor, delivery, or the postpartum period, which could affect the well-being of both mother and baby. He noted that the designated facilities have adequate manpower, high standards, and modern equipment to deliver quality care. The complications could range from mild to life-threatening and may require medical intervention. Professor Pate also highlighted the government's commitment to addressing vesicovaginal fistula, VVF, by offering free treatment in 18 centers across Nigeria. He noted that VVF, a childbirth-related complication, affects at least 10,000 women annually, leaving many suffering from continuous urine leakage, which often leads to severe stigma and social isolation, particularly in the rural areas. The Office of the Accountant General of the Federation has confirmed that some federal workers experienced salary overpayments in December 2024 due to a system error. The overpayments are currently being recovered through deductions from affected workers' salaries. In a statement signed by the Director of Press and Public Relations, Mr. Bawa Mokwa, the OAGF clarified that there were no shortfalls in salaries paid to federal workers in January and February 2025. It explained that the amounts received during this period reflected normal salaries after the exhaustion of various arrears paid in the last quarter of 2024. The statement noted that workers had received arrears for the minimum wage, the 25% and 35% salary increase, and wage awards between October and December 2024. These additional payments had temporarily inflated salaries, leading some workers to mistakenly believe their January and February salaries had been reduced. Barring any future salary adjustments, the OAGF maintained that the salaries paid in January and February 2025 would remain unchanged until review by the federal government. On December 2024, On the December 2024 overpayments, the OAGF confirmed that the system error responsible for the excess payments had been corrected and deductions were ongoing to recover the funds. Regarding the payment of promotion arrears, the OAGF explained that the process was managed by Standing Committee on Promotion and Salary Arrears and the Budget Office of the Federation, which compiles and vets salary and promotion arrears for ministries, departments, and agencies before forwarding them to the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System for payment. According to the OAGF, batches 1 to 6 of the promotion arrears payments have been fully processed, with further payments awaiting approval from the Budget Office. Reaffirming its commitment to efficient payroll management, the OAGF urged workers with genuine salary complaints to follow the formal resolution channels. It encouraged affected staff to report their concerns promptly for resolution. Professor Ezekiel Agbalagba has been appointed as the new Vice-Chancellor of the Federal University of Petroleum Resources, Efrun Fupri, Delta State. the Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of the Governing Council, Mr. Bello Issa, announced the appointment during a press briefing at the university's conference hall. He revealed that 39 candidates applied for the position, but Professor Agbalagba emerged as the most outstanding candidate after a rigorous selection process. The Governing Council chair emphasized that Professor Agbalagba's appointment followed due diligence and adherence to the due process. He commended the professor's academic experience, leadership qualities, and dedication to excellence, which made him the preferred choice for the role. Outgoing Vice-Chancellor Professor Akpofure Ruke expressed confidence in the selection process, stating that the transition was smooth and transparent. He noted that Professor Agbalagba has the expertise and vision to elevate FUPRE to greater academic heights. The new Vice-Chancellor is expected to serve a single term of 5 years. The new Vice-Chancellor of the Federal University of Petroleum Resources, Efun Delta State, is a professor of environment and radiation physics. Born in Agbaruto, Ughelli North. The foreign ministries of France, Germany, Italy, and Britain today said they supported an Arab-backed plan for the reconstruction of Gaza that would cost $53 billion and avoid displacing Palestinians from the enclave. The ministers said in a joint statement that the plan shows a realistic path to the reconstruction of Gaza and promises, and if implemented, swift and sustainable improvement of the catastrophic living conditions for the Palestinians living in Gaza. The plan, which was drawn up by Egypt and adopted by Arab leaders on Tuesday, has been rejected by Israel and by US President Donald Trump, who has presented his own vision to turn the Gaza Strip into a Middle East Riviera. The Egyptian proposal envisages the creation of an administrative committee of independent, professional Palestinian technocrats entrusted with the governance of Gaza after the end of the war in Gaza between Israel and the Palestinian militant group Hamas. The committee would be responsible for the oversight of humanitarian aid and managing the Strip's affairs for a temporary period under the supervision of the Palestinian Authority. The statement issued by the 4 European countries today said they were committed to working with the Arab Initiative, and they appreciated the important signal the Arab states had sent by developing it. The statement said Hamas must neither govern Gaza nor be a threat to Israel anymore, and that the 4 countries support the central role for the Palestinian Authority and the implementation of its reform agenda. This is the Delta Television News at 8. We'll go for a break, and when we return, we'll bring you more stories. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us on the news. Let's join our business news desk for happenings in the business sector.
Nigeria's foreign exchange reserve fell by $1.31 billion in February 2025, reflecting sustained external pressure amid the recent appreciation of the naira. Data from the Central Bank of Nigeria showed that reserves declined from $39.72 billion on January 31, 2025 to $38.42 billion on February 28, 2025, representing a 3.3% drop within the month. The decline in February was slightly higher than the $1.16 billion drop recorded in January, highlighting the continuous strain on the country's external reserve. The steady depletion of reserves has raised concern amid rising speculation that the Apex Bank's sustained intervention in the foreign exchange market, aimed at bridging liquidity gap and stabilizing the naira, have come at the cost of reducing external reserves. Despite this, the local currency strengthened significantly against major foreign currencies on February, suggesting that the CBN's efforts have had some positive impact in restoring confidence in the market. Nigeria's reserve recorded a consistent decline throughout February with no single day of increase. At the beginning of the month, reserves stood at $39.60 billion on February 3, dropping at $39.54 billion on February 4, signaling the start of a downward trend. By February 7, reserves have fallen to $39.04 billion, slipping further to $39.27 billion on February 10. The downward trajectory persisted into the second week of the month, with reserves standing at $39.15 billion on February 12 and declining to $38.88 billion by February 17. By the third week of February, reserve had weakened further, dropping to $38